Some Devil by Dave Matthews is played on a baritone guitar with the tuning B, E, A, D, F sharp, and then the octave B. There are two main sections of this song. First is the main intro and verse progression, which sounds like this. We also have the chorus. On my guitar, I'm going to make sure that I've got both pickups selected, so I'm using the middle switch for my pickup selector switch, and then I'm going to crank the volume all the way up to get more of that crunch sound while still using a clean tone. All we're going to add to that is a little bit of delay and then just a touch of reverb. Now, because we're using a baritone guitar with B standard tuning, I'm going to reference each of the strings by their numbers instead of their notes. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, with your 6th string, of course, being the thickest, the deepest sounding string. Our first phrase is going to sound like this. What we have there is the low 6th string open. So your low B is played open, and as that rings out, we're going to grab the 7th fret on both the 2nd and 3rd strings, slide them straight up to the 9th fret, which we will do twice. So the low 6th string gives you the bass note, and then we slide 7 to 9 twice. We're then going to drop back to the 7th fret, again just using the 2nd and 3rd strings. We can then add another bass note as well to finish that off. So bass, slide, slide, back to 7, add another bass note. Then we do that sort of thing again, but this time we're going to hammer on to the 9th fret. So we got slide, slide, back to 7, bass note. Then we're going to hammer on from the 7th fret to the 9th fret, just using the 2nd and 3rd string, and then we go back to the 7th fret. So 7, hammer on to the 9th, back to 7, and then another bass note. So once more from the beginning, we have bass note, 7 to 9 slide, back to 7, hammer on, with that extra bass note. Then we drop down to the 5th and 6th frets on the 2nd and 3rd string, play them together, and then the 5th fret open for our bass, which should be an E. So we've gone from a B chord, B major, to an E. Now you'll notice that as I play this E major shape there, my thumb comes over the top and mutes my low B string, my 6th string, so that I can then switch my bass to the 5th string. So slowly it should look like this from the hammer on. Before we move on to the second phrase, which sounds like this. I want to first talk about variation. Now with this song, as I mentioned before at the beginning, we only have two different sections, the verse and then the chorus riff. And because of this, the guitar might sound a little bit repetitive. So what we're going to do to keep things interesting and to keep this variation is add some extra things to what we just played there. So sometimes we can do it just standard as I've showed you. Sometimes you can improvise some extra stuff. And the big thing with this sort of music is a lot of it just comes from the musician or the artist. In this case, we've got Dave Matthews. He's got an idea. That's the progression he wants. And then he plays around with that a little bit. Everything isn't completely 100% thought out. He just does what feels natural, what's comfortable, and what to him, and of course to all of us, sounds good. So when I play that, we've got the first option without the variation. Or we could vary it. that little extra slide. And we can add or neglect bass notes and other stuff like that. Now all I've done to change that up is I've slid from the 7 to 9 twice after playing the bass note. Normally we'd stop the playing, go back to 7th fret and play that just by itself. What we can do as a variation to keep the guitar playing interesting is we can do our slides, and then without touching the strings again, I'm going to come back down to 7 with a little backwards slide, stop the playing, and then play the 7th fret again. So instead of, it becomes that with a little slide down. And then sometimes I neglect a couple of the bass notes, only play 1 or 2 instead of all 3. And sometimes I do the slide backwards, sometimes I don't. Add that variation to all of your playing, and it should just bring this song together. So slowly from the beginning. This is our next phrase. So what we have there is from our E major shape here, which again was 6th fret and 5th fret on the 3rd and 2nd string. We play that together, and then the open 5th string, which is an E, to give you that E bass note. What we're going to do now is if we take this low note, that bass note there, as count 1 of the next bar, so, and 1, 2, 3, 4. What we're going to do is add a backwards slide like that on count 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we slide back into a C shape, which we'll look at in a second. All we're doing is grabbing the 5th and 6th fret on the 2nd and 3rd string again, just like we played just before. And we're playing that for the majority of that one beat. And then we're going to slide it down, focusing on your index finger to get that there onto the 1st fret of the 2nd string, because that can set you up for the C shape that we're going to use. As I was talking about before, we do sometimes want to add some variation to the playing. So instead of just going 2, 3, 4, we can add some extra chords. So I added an extra one on count 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And one thing that you'll really notice when you're watching Dave Matthews play this live especially, is he'll a lot of the time do this sort of strumming motion with his hand. And that can sort of act as a tool to help you stay in time. But it gives you some extra tonal variation. Instead of this, you can do, which has a different sound to it. All together from the hammer on. And the slide down. And what you can do is, as you get closer to the 1st fret there on the 2nd string, you can start to just pull off your middle finger, or whatever finger you were using to play the 6th fret, and that way all you're left with is that one note there. What we do now is grab your just standard C major shape, which is 3, 2, open 1 on the 5, 4, 3, and then 2nd strings. And all we're going to do is play 5th string, 4th string, and then both the 3rd and 2nd strings together back to the 4th string. So 5, 4, together, 4. And for some variation, you can strum some of the chords sometimes. After you play your 5, 4 together 4 pattern with your right hand, which you're going to do legato. All that means is you're playing everything connected and all smooth and it's all flowing together, I guess is one way to look at it, versus staccato, which is this. That's all staccato versus that, which is all played together. So as we let the other strings ring out playing legato, we're going to play the 5th string still on that 3rd fret, again as everything is ringing out, and then we slide everything up 2 frets. So instead of 3, 2, open 1, we have now got 5, 4, open 3. And we can use the exact same picking pattern with our right hand again. 5, 4, together, 4. Which then takes us back to the beginning of our main progression. Now all of that will match along with the vocals. Again, add some variation. 2, 3, 4. The chorus is easily the most difficult part of the song, simply because of the first 2 chord shapes. Everything else is just power chords with the octave and then your C shape, which we just talked about. So the rest of the chorus isn't too difficult, it's just these first 2 chord shapes, which are D major, where we play 10, 9, and then 7 on the 5th, 4th, and then your 3rd strings. So 10, 9, and then reach all the way over to the 7th fret. To play these, all we're going to do is play 5, 4, and then strum the 3 strings. Now my ring finger and pinky on my right hand are just resting naturally there on the 1st and 2nd string, so already they are being muted. And then where my thumb kind of wraps around, just like before with this, my thumb is also wrapping around to mute that low string as well. That way, when I strum, all I'm hearing are the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings. So 5, 4, strum. Then we're going to keep these 2 notes exactly where they are and just switch our bass note here, which is on the 10th fret, giving our root note D of the chord. We switch that backwards 1, which could turn this into D major over C sharp, because we dropped that bass back, D to D major over C sharp, or again it's just 9, 9, 7 on 5, 4, 3, and we use the same progression, the same picking progression, 5, 4, strum. And here my thumb is sort of acting as a mute, but so is my middle finger there, just sort of pushing up against the string as well. Next we're going to do a power chord on the 7th fret of the 5th string. So we go 7, 9, and then 9 for your octave as well. And then just as standard with the chorus, we go 5, 4, strum, move everything backwards 2 frets, 5, 7, 7, and strum that 5, 4 together. So power chord on the 7th fret, power chord on the 5th fret, down to your C shape. From the beginning of our chorus, we've got 10, 9, 7, 9, 9, 7, 7th fret power chord, 7, 9, 9, and then slide that back 2 frets to 5, 7, 7, which gives you D major, D over C sharp, B, A, then down to the C shape, which we're going to play the exact same way as we did before, with the 5, 4 together 4 picking pattern. The only difference is we play that 3 times in a row. 2, 3, and then we slide all of that up 2 frets, just as we did before at the end of the verse progression. So instead of 3, 2, open 1, we play 5, 4, open 3. So once more, 10, 9, 7, 9, 9, 7, 7, 9, 9, 5, 7, 7, C shape, 2, last one, slide up. We then go back to the beginning of the chorus. The only difference for this bit now is we stop there. We only play the C major chord once, which technically is a G, but the C major shape once. We'll let that ring out as the vocals do the little solo bit. Back into the verse. So once more, very slowly, we've got the D chord, D over C sharp, B, A, down to the C shape, but with this tuning we've got a G. Play that 3 times, 3, slide up to the A, with the add 11, back to the D, D over C sharp, B, A, C. Let that ring out, back to beginning. And that's how the song ends. So your outro is just your slide, slide, 7, hammer on to the E chord, and you stop there just, and 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how you play the outro of the song. So basically half of the main verse progression. So skip this bit and just stop it here. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. If the tutorial was helpful, please leave a like and let me know in the comments. Again, thank you for watching. I'll see you all later. Good luck with this song.